Dr. Frank, I've relapsed. I feel like giving up. I'm really, really struggling. I can't stop relapsing. And the first thing that I tell the person is listen, although it may not feel like it, this is progress. Relapse is actually a sign of progress. And the reason for that is very simple. Perhaps it wasn't that long ago, maybe just a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, maybe just a few days ago. The word relapse wasn't even in your vocabulary. So all you were doing was going from state of active use to state of active use. It wasn't even considered a relapse because you were just constantly using the drug without thinking about any consequences or without even a thought of wanting to quit. So if you're actively relapsing, that means that you're in this game. This means that you're in the ring, you're rolling with the hits, you're taking the punches, and you're getting back up over and over and over and over again. So as long as that word is in your vocabulary, you're right here. You're on your quitting journey. I promise you that. My second piece of advice to the person, or my second question that I always ask them, is why did the relapse occur? What happened? Were you in a situation or a circumstance that led to the relapse? Identify it if you were. And then I usually have the person walk me through how in the future, when that same circumstance or scenario is going to come up, how they can approach it differently. It's one thing to make a mistake. It's no big deal. We all make mistakes. Trust me, I've made more mistakes than I would like to talk about on this channel in my life. Although I've pretty much spent the entirety of this channel talking about my life screw-ups. It's what matters is how you handle that mistake. And what makes, I think, people successful in life, or at least I've noticed this in people who are successful, they don't seem to make the same mistake twice. So I think if you can take this relapse and this thing that occurred and do your best to learn from it, look at the circumstances, look at the situations, assess your reactions to those circumstances and those situations, and then ask yourself, how can I handle this differently next time? How can I approach this differently? What could have I done? And then next time that challenge comes up, do those different things. Do those things that you said you would have done differently. Act on those things. But take my word for it, as long as you're talking about relapse, it means you're actively on your quitting journey. And as long as you're actively on your quitting journey, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I know you're trying. I know you're working hard. I know you're doing great. You know, I joke around with people. I think I wanted to quit nicotine after my first year of use. It took me 8 years to quit. People don't even realize it, but your quitting journey actually begins after the first time you say, I want to quit. I want to stop. Right there in that moment, that's when the quitting process begins for you. And last thing I would say about relapse, when you look to relapse, if you're thinking, you know what, I want to go back to it, I want to do it, you have to ask yourself, because you're probably thinking, oh, I want to use that drug, I want to get high, I want to take a hit. You have to ask yourself, what comes along with that relapse? Because it's not actually the high that you're going to get out of that relapse. It's the depression. It's the decreased physical health. It's the damaged relationships. It's the money that you've now wasted, the harm done to your financial situation. Maybe it's faith-based for you, and it's the damage that's been created between you and your faith. Whatever it is, that relapse, when we view it from a point of addiction, we're thinking, I want to relapse, I want to use that drug. But what are really the outcomes of that relapse? Because it's not getting high. Remember, addiction does not create higher highs. It only creates lower lows. So what low is it that you're going to chase after next time you relapse? What low is it that's really worth it for you, right? I want to see you chase after those actual highs in life, those actual things that bring you joy. I hope this helps you out. Why don't you follow me into my next video where I talk a little bit more about some techniques that you can use to avoid relapse. I'll see you guys there.